looked like this guy Wolf was a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, you know, the radical left. That Wolf was a great writer, was conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt me, and politically otherwise.
Are you going to call Jeffrey to get back to us?
So we'll probably
Are you going to call your human trafficker friends? Huh? No?
and maybe the Epstein estate, I guess, I don't know, but it certainly
I don't want to have increased.
you may, I guess so, because he was conspiring with Wolf to do harm to me politically.
That's and world leaders understand when their assets go up, they feel better. However, institutions like banks, things that people don't really understand, are financial underpinnings of banks. When I say your bank, the Bannon Bank, you doubled your assets. Sounds good. What does it really mean? It means people owe you.
The deep reach of the Epstein files now spreads to Melbourne. Mr. Gates, do you have anything further to say about the Epstein files? I mentioned your name. I'm not. Bill Gates leaving the Ritz-Carlton on Spencer Street after being named in the final massive drop of documents by the US government.
Today we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images.
Jeffrey Epstein claimed Bill Gates caught a sexually transmitted disease from sex with Russian girls, and that he planned with the disgraced financier to secretly slip his wife antibiotics. Linda and Bill Gates later divorced. The Epstein controversy mentioned as one of the reasons the marriage fell apart.
I thought it was.
If the allegations bothered Bill Gates at all, there was no sign of it at the Australian Open today.
He is actually a huge tennis fan.
Gates released a stinging response via statement. These claims from a proven disgruntled liar, he says, are absolutely absurd and completely false. Deep in the data dump, there are shocking new photos, including multiple pictures of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor on all fours, crouching over a woman, plus chilling new insight into Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell taken after his death. Also, a damning email from Epstein to Andrew, arranging an encounter with a 26-year-old Russian woman. And there's a trail of emails revealing the depths of Epstein's long-term friendship with Catherine Keating, the daughter of former Prime Minister Paul. Blake Johnson, 7 News.
Encouraging.
Bannon Bank, I give you,
like I said, it's the tough thing that they've got is
just
they've been made captain of a ship with a hostile crew.
In our system of banking,
they don't have
I would say, okay, Steve, I gave you $1.
Like
how much could you lend out to your friends?
Captain of a ship with a hostile crew, you still have a hostile
natural
crew.
reaction would be probably something less than $1 because I want to keep something in my pocket.
The
way our system works is if you as a bank are holding my dollar, you can lend out an additional $8 or $9.
No, but yeah, I think the public will be rightly.
We have something called fractionalized reserves. If you have one, you can lend out 9.
If no one is prosecuted for
that's the way our system works.
No one at all.
And so not only do world leaders not understand banking, but the man on the street, my father worked in the park department. It would be beyond his imagination that people could lend out
there should at least
more
be
money than they
an
actually had in their
prosecution
pocket.
of the worst offenders.
Well, particularly if Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for sex trafficking.
Class 3 sexual
Because, like,
that means sex trafficking occurred.
Tier 1 is the highest and worst.
So she's in jail for it.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
Who were the clients?
Yeah.
No, but
how do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the client?
It's a serious question.
That sounds kind of
insane. Do you think you're the devil himself?
Yes.
Because you have all the attributes.
It's just stunning that they've been able to hold it back for so long.
The most important people
It's really kind of amazing.
and consistency.
Like when people say that people can't
Satan is the
and politicians.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of these things are not like
he's literally talking about how they made the fucking basically the Illuminati.
we don't actually have to prove.
And the reason
This is it's
So the
so
proof
you
is
literally
there.
have. So remember when I said this is like a dev video?
is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather rein him down.
It's literally just a dev video.
I mean, the
I
dude.
saw that.
Alex Jones was right about everything.
But like, whenever they raided Epstein's place, there would have been like a mountain of evidence. Where is that mountain?
Right. What'd you do with it?
Yeah. Like, who took possession of the evidence?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Right.
The individuals.
Where are the tapes?
Yes.
How many levels of clearance do I have to get into the vault?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what we need are people who are really good with computers.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good with
Was this
technology.
That's when they raided his home? That's when they on the island?
In that Epstein.
Yeah. They got everything, I'm sure.
A few times as well.
So much stuff on
I think
and if it wasn't there, where was it?
it was Reid Hoffman in Silicon Valley introduced us
somewhere.
in
There has to be
2014. But it was basically
the other thing they're going to talk about is
Chuck didn't ask enough questions about it.
So you're the guy to ask about this.
But I think there were sort of a lot of things where it was fraudulent. I do think Epstein knew a lot about taxes, and there were probably these complicated
were born to only
ways
serve
you
us.
could,
He said
you
in
could
a
structure
2010 sermon,
a nonprofit
without
organization,
that, they have no place in the world,
especially
only to
as a way,
serve the
in a
people
in a
of
marital,
Israel. Guys, this is
context that
this is insane.
that I think Epstein might have known a decent amount about.
How, when you were introduced to him?
I don't think Epstein would have been able to comment on superstring theory or something like that. But I think this sort of thing he might have actually been pretty expert on.
When you were introduced to him, how was he described to you?
He was described as one of the smartest tax people in the world.
Interesting.
And I probably was my moral weakness that I.
Well, how could you have known back then? He had never been arrested.
No, this was 2014. It was post arrest.
Oh, so his arrest was the first arrest, right?
Yeah,
which was like
2007, 08.
Okay.
Of children and young women.
Okay. And so,
but you assume he didn't go to jail for that long. It was probably not as serious as alleged. There was certainly the illusion that there were all these other people that I trusted. Reid, who introduced us, was, he started LinkedIn. He was, maybe too focused on business networking, but I thought he always had good judgment in people. When the shit went down and Epstein gets arrested for the second time, were you like, ugh, well, there you go? I've thought about it.
I wondered, and I'm just.
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well, he's.
There's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals, and the information we have again is limited.
So the answer is no one.
For the information that we have
in the files,
in the case file.
Okay.
When I went on the run in police, I had friends in the U.S. Embassy and police. I knew what was coming down. I'm not stupid. I had arranged with the head of security. I was going to come in. He said, sir, we have it from the highest authority. We are not to allow you entry into the U.S. Embassy. Understand me. Who was the highest authority in the State Department? Hillary Clinton. I'm an American citizen with a f***ing American passport. I'm sorry. I'm not wanted in America. I've got no crimes in America. Is it not a reason to say, I don't think I'm going to vote for you?
And yet you're here now.
For a month and a half, I was on the run. The reason that the government wanted to collect me was that after they had raided my property in 2012 in the jungle, shot my dog, abused me, destroyed $500,000 worth of my property over a bogus charge, I was pissed off. And so I donated to many secretaries within the government laptop computers, really nice ones, that were preloaded with viral spyware. Within a week, the entire government computer system was under my control. I was watching, monitoring, listening. I was looking for information that they had set me up for that raid. I didn't find that. I did find out that the Minister of National Defense was the largest drug trafficker in all of Central America. And the Minister of Immigration, the largest human trafficker.
Well, we don't want to get killed by them either, so we're probably not going to
That's fine.
that.
That's fine.
And in fact, from my telephones against the wall with my little metal wires, because the next day I talked to another person in Washington about the issues of what I thought was happening, and I made the same discussion about the...
They were at the Treasury Department?
Yes.
So in a 6x9 cell in...
The phones were outside the cell.
In Palm Beach County, California?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
West Palm Beach, Florida.
That's what you just died.
West Palm Beach, Florida. West Palm Beach, Florida. West Palm Beach, Florida. You're making a call to Washington, D.C. to talk to some deputy secretary of Treasury.
Someone in Treasury.
Right. Someone in Treasury.
Right.
Is your money dirty money?
If you live,
I just asked a question. Is your money dirty money?
No, it's not. So, in fact,
why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it.
But you earned it.
I earned it.
We went back to this before. You earned it. You earned it advising the worst people in the world, right? That do enormous bad things, and just to make more money.
So, instead of asking me the question, should you take the money? Because I think it's a legitimate question.
Do you think it's a legitimate question?
Yes, no question. Because I think ethics is always a complicated subject. But I can tell you that with the money I gave to help try to eradicate polio in Pakistan and India, instead of asking me whether that money should be given to these children for vaccines, I think you might want to ask their mothers who received the vaccine, who know their child now won't get polio, and ask them if Epstein should have helped these people.
In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, people from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. No one cares about movies anymore. No one goes to the cinema. No one really watches network TV. Everyone's watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done, Netflix, you win. Everything. Good night. But no, we've got to drag it out for 3 hours. You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer. And it's still more fun than this. Okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way. So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and off, okay?
You know, there's this argument that I reject that black people are less intelligent than white people. It's not true. We know, for example, that if I was in the forest and I had to run from the lion or figure out a way not to be eaten, and my competition is a local African, I'm the one who's getting eaten because they have the intelligence.
I desperately want to know why Jeffrey Epstein knew so much about my work. And I want to know why he was connected to my graduate program. I was in the Harvard mathematics department. Jeffrey Epstein was absolutely connected to the Harvard math department. I want to know why.
How was he connected to that department?
You're pushing me to say things I'm not going to say. But
I'm curious. I'm not trying to push you.
I understand, but I'm just not going to do it. I'm saying that anybody who wants to...
You say he was connected to the math department?
To the Harvard mathematics department.
How did you know he was connected?
You can Google it. You could Google it right now. This is not... I can point at all sorts of stuff that's hidden in plain sight.
So I'll take your word for it. And the assertion that I'm picking up on is that Jeffrey Epstein was planted in your world to keep...
I'm not saying he's planted. I don't know who he was. I don't know who ran him. He certainly was not a financier in any standard sense.
Really?
That was a cover story, yes.
I had dinners with him. I regret doing that. He had relationships with people he said, would give to global health, which is a interest I have. Not nearly enough philanthropy goes in that direction. Those meetings were a mistake. They didn't result in what he purported, and I cut them off. That goes back a long time ago now. So there's nothing new on that.
It was reported that you continued to meet with him over several years, and that, in other words, a number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so in general, you always have to be careful. And I'm very proud of what we've done in philanthropy. Very proud of the work of the foundation. That's what I get